And we will get started. Okay, guys. Welcome to your practice. I'm so glad that you guys showed up for practice today. Thank you for being here. Find a comfortable place to sit. Kind of gather your energy. Kind of allow yourself to create your space. I'm going to grab a little spritz of worthy focus. So if you're going to use that today or any blend of choice, it's been a very active day with that moon in Aries. So it'd be nice to kind of collect ourselves, I think. So set your space, whether that's through scent or whether it's through just kind of starting to detach from distractions and obligations and everything else. And then we're going to do some breath work, but first we'll just kind of tune in. So take a couple moments to maybe close your eyes and internalize your experience. So kind of processing what's happened today. It's a full moon week, so maybe there's still emotions kind of out there. Whatever you find. So just kind of take an inventory of your mind, of your body. And allowing yourself to generate some space for yourself. So maybe you're going to imagine drawing in more space for your brain if you've been concentrating all day or working or maybe focusing on something. Allowing there to be a little bit of extra space in your brain. Maybe you've been working outside or being active and maybe there needs to be some space in your muscles and certain parts of your body. So maybe you'll intentionally bring some space into your body. If it's been an emotional week or you're experiencing some emotions, maybe there's some space in and around those feelings. Maybe the space is just a pause from what you've been doing. So a pause and then break in the momentum to let yourself find your practice. Find yourself. Start to find your breath a little bit more deeply. Softening your jaw, your belly, sitting up as tall as you can. Feeling the head stacking over the shoulders, shoulders stacking over the hips. Feeling a softness to that erect posture so that you don't feel too rigid, but there is a sense of length and connection. So maybe tracing your spine with your imagery. So the breath practice that I recommended to work with this week is the Viloma pranayama, which is like a ladder breath. So you can breathe in little snippets. And so we're going to breathe in 8 snippets. So we're going to form a mudra. So you're going to let all of your fingers touch, like the fingertips touch. And you can just hold this kind of right in front of the solar plexus. And it's just a gentle pressure on your fingers. So you're going to take 8 snippets in. And every time you breathe in, you're not breathing out. So you're just taking a little bit more breath in 8 times and a little pauses in between. Then you're going to do a slow, continuous exhale as you breathe out through your nose, okay? So it's 8 snippets in and then a continuous exhale out, okay? So empty all of your breath out. And then when you're ready, begin. Trying to sip in more and more space with each breath. Keep going. If you find it's hard to breathe through your nose to do this pranayama, you can do it through kind of an O-shaped mouth, like you're sipping through a straw. So keep going. Soften your gaze. Let your mind really focus on breathing and spaciousness, space, a greater lung capacity. Exhaling it all the way out. Keep your mind focused on the breath. Imagine feeling the circumference of your lungs. Bottom portion, side, top. We'll do 3 more. And then breathe all the way in. Big breath in. Hold at the top of your breath. Pause for a moment. And then all the way out. Let your hands go. Just kind of take a moment to notice how that breath, where it felt in your body. Okay. Take your hands to your heart. Form your intention for practice today. So whatever it is that you need today, get in touch with those desires for how you want to use the energy that you will cultivate in this practice. Knowing that you can send energy to a part of your body, you can create something with your energy, you can send your energy to someone, to something. Take a deep breath in until you fill up with your intention. Pause at the top. And then open your mouth and send your intention out. Then let your hands go, and we're gonna come to all fours. So when place, if you have any props, place them aside. And just find a tabletop spine. So go ahead and turn your hands out of it so that your index fingers are like 12 o'clock on a clock dial. Go ahead and spread out those hands so that your fingers are like reaching out like a circle, like emanating all 360 degrees. Go ahead and turn the eye of your forearms forward. Feel your belly pull back. Feel the back of your neck lengthen. And then we're just gonna work the shoulders. So keep the hips somewhat stable and let your shoulders kind of broaden at the front of the shoulders. And then let the back of the shoulders broaden. You can move your head. So just moving the shoulders. Shoulders draw together, shoulders draw apart. Shoulders draw together, shoulders draw apart. Keep your hands strong. It's okay to bend your elbows a bit if you want. Just moving the shoulders. So keep that belly nice and strong and just feel some mobility in your shoulders. And then lengthen it out, come back to that tabletop. Now we're gonna do the hips. So the hips are gonna let the sit bones lift and then the hip points release up. So just moving the hips, cat-cow, keeping your shoulders nice and broad and stable. So just shoulders. Feeling the strength of the upper back, strong through your arms. Keep your jaw soft. And then come to all fours again. Firm everything up. And then we're gonna do all at the same time. So kind of let there be a synergy here as the chest lifts and the hips draw forward. And then with that synergy, as the upper back lifts, the tailbone lengthens. So try to do the hips and the shoulders together. So maybe you're imagining initiating that movement to the center of your core. We'll do 2 more. Make it nice and slow so that you can pay attention to your breath That might be the thread that connects the shoulders and the hips. Connecting it all. And then when you're ready, come to a neutral spine. Tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and then walk your feet to your hands at the top of your mat. So if you want to block, you can place it down in front of your hands just to have a little bit of a prop. So bend that left knee, straighten your right, and place your left hand on the block and twist. So drawing that right hip crease back. So your right leg is straight, your left knee is bent. Opening up through the chest, you can turn and let your head face down if you'd like, or you can let the head go. And then forward fold again, just relax, let the head go. Shake it out if you need. Then you're gonna bend the right knee, straighten the left, right hand comes to the mat or the block, and then left arm lifts. So draw that outer left hip crease back. Kind of feel your belly lift. And again, the head can do whatever it wants to do. It can release down or let the head lift up. And then release the hands down. Bend the knees a lot, really generously, and you can roll your way up nice and slow. Head, neck, and shoulders are last. Good, bring the hands to meet at your heart. That kind of synergy of pulling it all together. We'll do some flow with our twists. So this is how we'll kind of awaken the digestion that we're working this month. So these twists, kind of imagining it kind of cleaning out through your day. So kind of imagining the twist as a way of detoxification, kind of squeezing out what you don't need so that you can distill and purify what you do need. Okay, so as you inhale, take the arms up. And as you exhale, open arm twist to the right. So keep your hips facing forward. Inhale. Exhale. Both arms up. Inhale, long spine. Then exhale, I'm going to trace the back of my thighs as I fold forward. We'll come to a halfway lift. Inhale. And on the exhale, step the right leg back. We're going to come to a low lunge. So I'm going to keep my back knee lifted. You're welcome to put it down on the mat. Take your right hand to the mat and lift your left arm up for a twist. Now, just like before, can you pull the left outer hip crease back and can you lift to the right thigh? Again, you can look down, let the head go. Take a few deep breaths here to really churn the belly. One more deep breath. And on the exhale, hands to the floor. Move your block if you used it, downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to do a little twist, kind of a warm up here. So we're going to tap the right hand to the outer left ankle, come to plank pose. Let the left hand tap to the outer right ankle, come to plank pose. We're just going to do this for a little bit of time. So exhaling as you twist, inhaling, come to plank. And it may not be kind of like the right length of your plank. I always adjust mine. So you might have to just kind of live with one or the other, shorter down dog or longer plank, just to not have to move a lot. So exhale, keep the hip sitting bones lifting. Inhale, broad collarbones. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Let's do one more time. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Come to plank, hold for a moment. First time, place your knees down. Kind of feel that lift of the chest out of the hips, but connect core, like that highway connecting the chest and the hips. Chaturanga all to your belly, all the way to your belly. Untuck the toes, and it's a rolling cobra. So the right shoulder lifts, then the left. Then we descend the right shoulder, and then we descend the left. We'll start on the left. Inhale, lift the left shoulder back, then the right. Then the left shoulder descends, and then the right. As you're ready, tuck your toes, plant the hands, press up to plank, downward facing dog. Take 5 deep breaths to ground. So I like to bend my knees sometimes to really lengthen my low back. So drop into your breath. Let that be a way to anchor your awareness. So if it's drifted a bit, you can just bring it back. With that left leg, lift it up and back. Now bend the knee, turn the hip out in the socket. Keep your hips square at this point, and then lift the left hip higher. Now drop into that right heel and get a nice little calf stretch. Now, oftentimes that right arm gets kind of heavy and kind of loose, so firm up through that right armpit. Draw the hips back. A little twist here. And then step the left leg forward between your hands and come to a high lunge. Taking your time, inhale, come up. Settle on into your legs. You might go shoulder width apart. You're going to twist of choice. So you're going to either open arm twist on the exhale, you're going to hold, or if you'd like to come forward and twist your left with a prayer twist, do that. Okay, so if you want more of the chest work, maybe you're going to keep the arms wide. Take 3 more really deep breaths. Turning on the exhale. On the inhale, maybe there's a little bit more length. Back leg still lifting and firm. Take another really deep breath in. And then as you're ready, we're going to bring both hands down to the floor, step and fold forward. And then your right hand's going to plant, your right knee will bend, and then we'll twist to the left. One more time. So the outer left hip draws back. You should get a gentle hip stretch for this as well. Then as you're ready, bend both knees, open arm twist to the left. So the knees, try to keep them somewhat level. They don't have to be exact. So open arm twist, twist a little deeper to the left, and then you can prayer twist and hold. 5 breaths. You can look down. See if you can lift the chest while you drop the hips. And on the exhale, forward fold, shake it out. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold on exhale, and then you can bend the knees and roll your body up, all the way up. Arms reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Pause and reconnect. You might want to bubble your lips or sighs. Really just let energy dissipate. So whether you're using your intention to kind of cleanse and use these twists, whether you just feel energy shifting, just take a moment to catch up with yourself, right? With the ways in which the body's intelligence kind of starts to work with us and with our intention. Okay, twisting again, arms reach up, open arm twist to the left. Arms reach up, open arm twist to the right. Both arms reach to the sky, big breath, stand tall, and then exhale, I'm gonna trace the back of my thighs. Long spine, inhale. Step your left leg back for a low lunge. Remember, your knee can come down to the mat. I'm going to plant my left hand. I'm going to lift my right arm. So low lunge twist. Take this right hip crease back. Take your back thigh up so that you feel a buoyancy to your back hamstring. So kind of feeling that hamstring and glute, lifting the thigh. Remember, your gaze can be down. It can be up. It can be head release. Feel the belly churn as the chest lifts, as the right lung lifts. One more deep breath in and out. And then both hands to the mat. We're going to step to down dog for a moment. Deep breath in and out. And then we're going to go plank pose, inhale. Now you know what to do. Exhale, tap the opposite ankle. So you can just keep going on your breath work. And you can use forceful exhales up. If you really want to get some energy out. Or you can close your mouth and breathe in and out through the nose, through ujjayi breathing. Notice where you can initiate the twist from. Can it be the core? Can you bring that awareness down to the navel so that we activate that center? Let's do 4 more. Two more. And then come to plank pose. If you want to keep your knees lifted, please do. Chaturanga all the way to your belly. And that rolling cobra will start with the left. So lengthen your legs out, plant your hands where it's appropriate. Shoulders on your back. They don't need to hunch towards your ears. Lift the left shoulder back, lift the right. Descend the shoulder, descend the right. Really important, keep those shoulders back. Start with right. Start, then go to left. Drop to the right lung, drop to the left. Let's do a general cobra. Breathe and lift. And then all the way down, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here to recalibrate. Let your head go. Focus on that deep breathing. Then we're gonna lift the right leg up and back. Bend the knee, so there's a hamstring curl. Turn the thigh out. Keep that left leg neutral, and then lift that right hip really high. Descend to the left heel. Now my left armpit, I notice my arm starts to get a little limp, so I press up and reaffirm. Strong shoulders, like we did in that all fours position. Feel that twist and turn. And then right leg forward, high lunge. First, stabilize your lunge, so you might need to go a little wider apart. So you have prayer twist or open arm twist. So see which one's calling to you. Same thing in the low lunge. The back thigh wants to lift, the front hip wants to stay back, so we don't let it swing as we twist. So decide what you want to do. And twist, 5 breaths. So if you can really lift the heart while drawing the navel back and churning. Neck can be loose or relaxed. Focus that energy at the navel center. Okay, take another deep breath. On the exhale, standing forward fold. We're gonna plant the left arm on a block if you have it, if you want it. Then left knee straighten, right leg twist, just like we began. Drawing that right hip crease back. Then both knees, chair pose. It's an open arm chair pose to start. And then draw the energy towards your heart, sit back and prayer twist. So you don't have to touch elbow to thigh. So you can hover them if that's better for your body. Heart lifts, churn, hips back. 3, 2, and forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold on the exhale. Then the knees round and roll all the way up. Big breath in. And then hands to the heart to integrate. Taking a moment to dissipate energy if you need to, or just catch up with how the energy is swirling in your body. So we've been using a lot of the outer hips to be kind of stabilizing our body, which is a lot of the work of the outer hips. We're going to continue strengthening that as we work towards a balanced shape today. So first we're going to step the right leg way back, turn so that we have a wide leg forward fold. Okay? So wide leg forward, which means our toes are facing forward. Hands can come to the hips, shoulders back, big breath in. And on the exhale, fold forward. You can bring your hands to the earth if you'd like. So just take a moment to feel the outer edges of your feet. Release down towards the mat. So you start to feel yourself press the mat away. You'll start to ignite the energy of the outer hips as you do that. Conversely, if you feel the inner edges of your feet find the mat and you draw them towards the center of your mat, as if you're shortening your mat, you'll feel the inner thighs. Start to feel a balanced effort of inner and outer thighs that both have a certain amount of tone. You have to kind of play with those actions, press away, lift in. So if you want to block under your hands for this next little part, you can. I'm just going to take the hands on the block if I want to. I'm going to step towards the right, and I'm going to lift the left leg up a bit. Just going to hover. I'm going to step the left leg back, slide my block with me, press into this left foot, hover the right. I'm just going to do these back and forth. So I'm using a block. And the block can be on the higher setting so I can keep a long spine. So if my low back is bothering me, that might be helpful. Just a couple more. I want you to feel outer edge of the foot nice and securely fastened to the mat. Kind of a little bit of a side bend. As I do that, lift up, hover, come back, and then come to the center, take a deep breath and fold again. Nice deep breath. And then come hands to hips, long spine, come all the way up to standing. And then just step towards your right leg. Doesn't matter what side of the mat you're on. We're going to do some figure 4 squats. So left knee comes up, ankle over thigh. So I'm going to feel a little bit of that ankle pressing into my thigh as I sit back, and I'm going to come up. So this is balance work, so if you need your hand on a wall or if you want to have your sitting bones near a wall, you can do that. So we're going to do about 6 more of these. Sit back, weight in your heel, lift up, sit back, stand up, lengthening those hip points. About 3 more. It's okay if you're wobbly, right? The point of this is to kind of dance with that wobble. 2 more. Awesome. From here, unravel, step all the way back out. And then we're going to step to the other side. So the right leg comes towards the left. And then we're going to go right ankle over left thigh. So it should be the exact opposite. And then 8 times we sit back. And I'm kind of using my hands at my waist to push my hips back. And then to lift through my hip points as I stand up. You can go as slow as you want to go. You don't have to go fast. So we should feel a mild stretch, maybe a deep stretch as we sit back for these outer hips. Opposite hips really working. This is a little bit unfair. Few more. Nice deep breaths. You're feeling the wobble. Connect to your core. Slow it down. 1 more. Nice. And then step the leg out. Turn the right toes in. Turn the left toes out so that you have a warrior 2 position. Okay, take the arms out to the side. And then go ahead and bend the left knee and come into that warrior 2. Okay, bring your hands to meet at your heart. We're going to shorten up that warrior 2 stance. But before we do that, let's just keep feeling those feet press apart. Those are the muscles that we're trying to strengthen. So it's like you're making your sticky mat longer. So I want to feel lengthening happening in the inner thighs and stability happening in the outer hips. So just connect to that for a moment and then step in a little bit closer. So it's not important how low you go for this one, but more that you can feel this outer hip generating some work and effort to lift. So I'm going to lean over to the left a bit, kind of pointing my right toes, and I'm just going to lift this leg up for like just a gentle half moon. I'm going to feel this outer hip start to work. And I'll stay here for 3, 2, it doesn't have to be very high. And then stepping into a forward fold. Fold, forward. Nice deep breaths. Okay, so staying in your forward fold, your hands can come to a block or to come forward. Stay in your right leg. Hover your left foot off the mat. So you're going to keep your toes in a line, pull that heel in so that you feel the thigh bone kind of come into the socket of your hip, and then pull it out of it. Similar to what we were doing in a wide leg, we're trying to keep all 10 toes in one line for 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Shake it out, go side to side. Long spine, inhale. Fold on your exhale, step back to plank pose. Continuing this work of the outer hips, you're going to step the right leg wide and bring it in. Left, bring it in. Right, and you can just tap the toe, you don't even have to set it all the way down. Keep your hips stable. You have 6 more. This is too much, do this on your knees. Okay, and your last one, come to downward facing dog. Nice deep breaths. Let your head go, shake it out. Start to feel what's happening in your hips. Keeping that left leg as your base, go ahead and take that right leg up. Bend the knee, turn the hip out, and then lift the hip vigorously, descend the left heel. Same thing we did before, but you should feel again that right outer hip. Now straighten that left leg. It's kind of like you're doing a half moon. Start to bring the hips down square to the floor and the right leg goes out wide for 3, for 2, and then bring it all the way down. Knees down, sit back on your heels, relax your shoulders. Take some breathers as that outer hip energy starts to circulate. Okay, we're gonna stay on that left leg and we're gonna come to lying on the back, on the side. Sorry, not the back, on the side. Staying on that same side. So we're gonna do a little bit of outer hip work similarly to what we might do in a side plank. So you're gonna lift that right leg up. So kind of feel that outer hip lifting, lower it down. Just do a few times. You're kind of lifting the waist. You can have a forehead pillow if you prefer. Just kind of lifting and lower, feeling into that pose. And then lift the leg and then externally rotate it. So my inner thigh starts to open up and I'm going to bring the knee towards me and grab onto the outer foot. If you can grab onto the big toe, that works too. Keep the hips moving forward. Go ahead and come to a half happy baby. If you need a strap, you can use that too, or straighten the leg. So I want you to feel the hips move forward. So you don't want to rock back into your glutes. Keep the hips reaching forward. And again, you can have a bent knee or you can use a strap. Keep your breath going. And then let go and slowly lower towards the floor. Yeah, nice. Go ahead and lie onto your side for a moment. Just kind of relax. So you can bring the right knee down into the floor. If that helps kind of stretch out that outer hip area. Sometimes weakness in the outer hips can contribute to low back pain. So strengthening this area can really help with SI joint issues and low back pain. So just kind of noticing how this might affect low backs today. Okay, when you're ready, rolling onto your belly, we'll do a locust pose or a cobra, whatever works for you today. You can do an upward facing dog if you want, maybe hold here for a few deep breaths. Enough to lift the chest. When you're ready, child's pose or down dog, whatever lets you reset the best. Whatever really lets you drop into your breath and your experience. One more time, staying with that left leg. We're going to step that left leg forward between our hands. We're going to come into a standing splits. So I'm going to firm through my left inner thigh line. I'm going to use the right outer hip, just like I did in that scorpion dog, to lift, lift, lift through the leg. My head can relax. Then when I'm ready, I can drop the hip. I can bend the left knee, come to a standing L, and then all the way up to standing. All the way up to standing. Breathe in and breathe out. You're gonna take a big step back, so we're back in that wide leg fold as we started. Don't worry, we're not gonna do that same loop-de-loop thing, but we are gonna do a little bit of side squatting. So bring your hands to your heart, and you're gonna bend the right knee and let your hips move back. So I'm letting the knee move to the center of the foot, and you're gonna come up. And I'm gonna bend the left knee and come back. So you should get a mild, maybe inner thigh stretch. I'm not necessarily trying to twist. I'm just trying to feel some length of the groins, some strength in the outer hips. So maybe just like 4 more, just move with your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Yeah. Okay, we're going to step the right leg to meet the left. We'll bring the knee up. We'll sit figure 4, and this time we'll sit and hold. So you can have your hands at your heart, you can have your hands forward, you can rest on your shins. If you prefer to fold forward, you certainly can. So those hip creases come back, outer left hip back. Even if that means your right knee lifts, that's okay. Try to feel that kind of balance to that standing leg. Take another deep breath. Unhook, step that right leg back out. Just take a moment. Pausing, maybe breathing. Then we'll step the left leg to meet the right. Knee comes up, ankle over thigh. We sit back. Flexing that foot, and again, moving the outer right hip back, because oftentimes the hips want to swing, because we want that knee to come down. Doesn't really matter how high your knee is, right? We're still getting that good external rotation in the hip, and we're deepening the hip crease. Breathing, whatever you want to do with your arms. Okay, as you're ready, coming up, and then sweeping that leg right back out again. It's going to be warrior two with your right leg. So the right toes pivot, the left heel turns in, hands to the heart, and just sink on down. So I'm going to push them out apart so I can feel the outer hips, especially this back leg. This outer hip tends to want to press forward, and then we end up feeling a lot of tension in the groin. So see if you can let that left hip come forward a bit and press the outer foot so that you can release some of that inner hip tension and strengthen your outer hip. So breathing and finding that stability. Noticing the knee is going to stay in the middle of the foot. I'm going to step a little closer in. Then again, it doesn't matter how low you go. And if I just take the toe off the floor and I balance there, totally fine. Otherwise, I'm lifting to that outer hip, lifting, and holding. Feeling the strength in my outer hips, feeling the strength in my side body. For 3, for 2, and then as I'm ready, I'm going to go with those hips kind of narrow in center, and then I'll fold forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay, so we just had that left leg hovering, I believe. So we're going to keep the right leg, and we're going to, right leg will lift. So the left leg's going to hug in. The right leg hovers above the floor. So again, the right toes are still level with the left. And I'll take that leg out to the side and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax it down. Let your hips shift side to side just to relax that. Nice long spine, inhale. Fold on your exhale, step back to plank. And then come to downward facing dog for a side plank. We'll do a side plank where we lift each outer leg. So we'll start with the right arm, so we'll stay high, turn the right hand out. From the hips being high, move the hips low and come to a side plank. Now I can stagger my feet for more stability or put my knee down. See if you can lift the left leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, place it down. I'm just showing you that modified version, downward facing dog. We'll go to the second side, so bring the big toes together. Move your left arm rather slightly forward. Lift the heels, keep the hips high before you move them low. And then see if you can hover the right leg. 3, 2, come to plank pose. And then all the way down to your belly to lay onto your right side. So first, just laying on that hip point. We tend to want to lay on the fleshy glutes. See if you can right on that hip point, which might require a blanket. And then just lifting and lowering that left leg a few times. I know it's nice and active already, so you've worked it. So just, again, reconnecting to the energy there. And then lift it up, externally rotate it. Bring the knee in without your butt releasing back. If you need to grab a lasso or straps, I'm going to show you that. Never underestimate the benefit of that. And then straighten the legs. So showing you that strap version. Keep the hips pressing forward. You can always keep the knees slightly bent. When you're ready, release the legs slowly onto the standing leg, or you can let it release forward. Stretch it out. Sometimes if you're cramping, you can kind of give it a little tap. So give yourself a nice little cobra or upward facing dog, whatever feels good for you. It could be even a sphinx pose. And then we're going to come to a downward facing dog. Nice deep breaths. So it's the right leg, I believe, that will lift up, bend the knee, open the hip, descend the left heel, firm up that armpit. Straightening the right leg. Starting to roll the hips forward, take it out to the side. And then let it come all the way back down. Just take a moment, pause, feel that in. Okay. We're going to step the right leg forward for standing splits. So we're firming through the right inner thigh, lifting through the left hip. Make sure this is the second side. I think it is, but you know, you never know. Lifting through outer hip. And then square the hips. You can bend the right knee so you can get your spine to release. And then press with that right heel, standing all the way up. Okay. Deep breath in and out. So it's focus pose time. And those of you that are working a balance shape, you can work warrior 4. That's the pose we've been kind of building into. So there's a couple entryways. So I'm going to show you this, those of you that like balance poses, because it's very challenging, but it's also all the things that we've been working, okay? So you can go lower entry or upper entry. The lower entry is just like we were doing before the block. And I'm going to let the leg float out. Maybe I'll grab onto it. Maybe I'll balance. Ooh, that did not work very fast, but you get the idea. I like the upper entry, which is kind of knee in like we did before, grab the foot, and then I fold and kick the foot out. Or no hands. But basically it's warrior 3 torso, the leg comes to the side. So you can also just do this without any binding, okay? Outer hips, long spine, so that's an option for balance. Otherwise, you're doing your focus pose, which I know is handstand, we're working core. So if you want to, this is obviously a lot of core work. If you want to work some other core, I'll show you the exercise that you can be doing. So you can be crossing, and then you can be doing kind of a reverse curl and lift. Cross, reverse curl and lift, okay? So those are options. So I'm going to give you like 3 minutes. So you obviously don't do the core work for 3 minutes. Play with those balance shapes if you want to. Unmute yourself if you have questions. So remember the foot in warrior 4, the inner foot is pointing down. So this is why we did prasarita. It's very similar work, right? Very similar. So it's not toe up, it's toe out. So the outer hip. Yeah, should help the malasana too. Nice, Jody, yeah. She made that look very easy. Nice, Rachel, that looks really easeful. Nice, Dawn, yeah. Look at that. Whoa, that was awesome. I can't see James and Kathleen, but I know they're rocking their headstands. So after you kind of finish your pose and you do it a couple times, you can go flow through anything else you want. You could just take some down dog. You could do another inversion for about another 1.5 minutes or so. So again, this is just your time to connect to what you're focusing on. Put a lot of breath, come in and out, try new things. Yeah, nice, Kathleen. Awesome pose. Yeah, look at that. You guys are really rocking this. This is a very hard shape. Every time I would do this in class, everyone would be like, who came up with that shape? It's very challenging. Very nice. Okay. Finish up your last few moments. We are going to release all that good stuff out. So when you're ready, head on to your back. And just take a moment to lie on your back and integrate the challenge of what we're aspiring to do and working with those challenge poses. So kind of taking a moment to digest anything that got shuffled up, or maybe it's celebration because it's feeling easier. Maybe some days there's frustration because it feels harder. So take another deep breath or two, and then we're going to come into a bridge pose. So let your feet come shoulder width apart. Go ahead and let your palms face up, pressing into your heels and letting the heels kind of reach back towards the back of your mat, lift up, and then you can crawl the shoulders underneath your back if you'd like to lift a little higher and extend through the chest. If you want to keep it lower, feel free to keep it more like a core bridge. Lengthening through the tailbone, letting the thighs reach forward. Feeling the inner leg line lengthen and ground through the foot. Take another breath or two. And then just gently set the hips down. Let the knees knock together and the feet come wide. Take your arms overhead and grab like your thumbs and your elbow crook, and take your arms overhead and just breathe and open through the chest. Slow the breathing down, let your heart rate settle. Just kind of remembering what arm is on top. Go ahead and open up the arms to the side and let the legs windshield wiper to the right. So you can kind of use that left hip to kind of press the hips forward to open up through the hip crease if you want, or you can let the hips be passive. A mild twist. Maybe you feel the arms reach apart and kind of really widen. And then bringing those knees back in, knocking the knees together, widening the feet. And then once again, taking the arms the non-habitual way and take the arms overhead. So the thumbs are in the elbow crease. You're just kind of letting this elevate the chest a bit, but feel kind of the heart space kind of just be heavy. So you can feel the energy into the back body. Let that breath be nice and full. You can exhale through your mouth or through a sigh. And then open up the arms. You can go palms down or up. Windshield wiper your legs to the left. See if it feels good to accentuate that twist and hip opener. If it feels good to be just passive and let the legs just relax. And then from here, windshield wiper your legs side to side. So let them move at whatever pace feels good. Feeling internal and external rotation. Good, bringing your legs back to rest center. So just because we worked a lot of kind of hip opening, and sometimes that can trigger the low back a little bit if you're overusing or underusing muscles. So if you're feeling a lot of low back, keep this left foot bent. Otherwise, you can straighten the left foot out, extend the right leg up with or without a strap. So you want to keep it super easy breezy. Just grab behind your right thigh. If you have a strap handy and you want to go ahead, really fully extend through the leg. Feel the heaviness kind of that right thigh bone kind of massaging the low back. So as it kind of lubricates in that hip joint, kind of feeling the breath massage down. And then put that right knee down for a moment, just neutralizing again, just letting the hips kind of settle. You can You want to windshield wiper a little bit side to side or kind of pull the knees in to massage the low back. Feel free to do that. And then right leg stays down, left leg reaches up. Use a strap if you want, but instead of letting the leg kind of feel like it's lengthening at the hip socket, let it feel kind of heavy. And you might feel that kind of grounding the left side of your hip. Nice deep breaths. You can put both feet up if you have a strap. You can pull down. Otherwise, just let the heels extend to the floor or to the sky. Then hug the knees into the chest. And let the legs reach all the way out. If you have a wall space close that you could do legs on the wall, that might be a nice one to rest in. We're gonna do a little meditation for the mind. Just to, again, keep giving our mind some space. So get cozy wherever you are. I want you to kind of imagine the vibe that you get when you like organize a closet, or you kind of like organize a drawer, or something that you know that you have that's all disheveled and disorganized, like my desk right now. Imagining what it's like when everything's in its perfect place and order. So I want you to imagine that as you're closing your eyes, kind of investigate the landscape of your mind and kind of noticing what's in its wrong place. Maybe you have like a lot going on one side, or a lot of thoughts that seem irregular, disjointed. If your thoughts could be like items on a desk or items in your closet, just imagine an organization happening, a sorting, where the not needed gets thrown in the trash can, or you can imagine that delete, delete, delete we've been working on, or you get to puff and you get to make it disappear or throw it away, cut and throw it in the trash. So imagining sorting what's not needed from what is needed. And then when you get what is needed left, everything's in its perfect place. So some things might need to go on a shelf for later. You don't need to think about that or deal with that. Imagine maybe categorizing by importance. And not that you have to get too detailed in your mind, but just imagine this is like kind of a rough outline of what's happening. So you might kind of see that it's doing this, even though like you don't necessarily have to sort out every last thought that you have. But there's a sorting, a prioritizing, organizing that's happening. And just make that intention that your mind will do that with whatever's percolating in the mind. And then once you get that perfectly organized desk or closet, whatever you're imagining, kind of feel that energy streamline through your body, as if that clear, organized energy can align your whole energy field, so that what's important is at the forefront, what's not important, you can just breathe it out. But you feel aligned to what's meaningful. Harmonizing, clarifying. So maybe you'll use the breath to kind of keep circulating that clear, organized energy through your body. You might use this practice throughout the day when you feel overwhelmed with thoughts or things to do or tasks. Is up, we gotta do a little cleaning up, organizing, right? So that we don't let things that aren't really that valuable take up space. And that we can organize and allow ourselves to have just enough time for what we need. So that we're not feeling rushed and pressured. That we can bring that synergized, aligned energy to all we do. So just kind of letting that process continue to work as you just kind of relax and breathe and release. Start to imagine your spine one more time. Kind of letting that be your way of integrating all the parts of yourself. Taking some nice deep breaths. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Connecting to the entirety of you. And then roll to your side for a few breaths. Roll to your right side if you need to keep calming down. Roll to your left side if you need to kind of invigorate yourself and get ready for maybe what's next in your day. Take 3 big cycles of breath. And then coming up to a seat, rubbing your hands together. Heart and mind, just letting the energy pulsate through those energy centers. Letting our hands join our heart. Acknowledging your efforts towards not only your peak pose or the poses that you're working, but the efforts that is just to return to your mat as a practice, as a way to connect yourself, to connect to others, to be more in touch with ourselves, to know thyself. Take a deep breath in. Deep sigh out. May all beings be happy and free. May our words, thoughts, and actions contribute to the happiness and freedom of ourselves and all other beings.